Okay, so we're just outside working on Roux' late night practice walking session. The main thing that we're gonna be going for is just maintaining a loose leash, and then some redirecting is possible too. So right here, starts pulling a little bit too hard. Good boy. Yes, good boy. Good boy. Yes. Roux. Oh, I know. Come here, bud. Good. Yes, good job. Seems like taking treats better when it's just off of the ground. Doesn't seem quite as interested in when it's from my hand sometimes, depending on what it is. So, hi, how you doing? Come on, big guy. I know, it's a pup. Come on. Boy. Getting very excited over here. It's doing good coming along with though. Not pulling too far back in. Go ahead and put the camera down here. Watch your face. Okay. I know you were unable to see, but the pup was actually behind the camera, so that's why we were practicing back and forth there. And he did really good. concept. Maintaining focus, not letting him pull too hard, redirecting when he starts to kind of put in that continuous pressure. You don't always have to turn around, but the more apparent it is that he should be following you, generally the easier it is. So you can do things like kind of pulling him back in every single time he goes out, right? Teach him to slow down that way as opposed to just sitting. The main thing is, whenever he's on that back end of the leash, he runs out of space, he's just got to recognize that to continue pulling. That's all. We got another pup coming up, so we'll go ahead and cross the street to make it a little bit easier. Try to put the camera down somewhere where you might still be able to see what's going on without him knocking it over. So that was really good. Hopefully there was enough ambient light that you could see what happened there. Recording at night is definitely a lot harder to do. And unfortunately, a couple of our lessons are usually later on in the evening sometimes, depending on how the day goes. Right, so he's starting to pull because he's interested with the truck. So that's when I'm just going to go ahead and make some space back. And I don't want to be holding him back the whole time. I just want to let him know that he can't go in that direction and pull that way. So I'm going to allow him to wait, and then I'm going to release, right? Because there's a big difference between telling him to wait or giving him a command and then forcing him to do it yourself. We really just want to try to help him out with it as much as he could, but not actually doing it for him. Like, we want to kind of force him to follow us, but at the same time, not by just dragging him along with the leash. When you use that momentary pressure, so that way he knows when to check back. But if you're just dragging him along the whole time, it's either him pulling or you pulling. Doesn't make for a very good walk. Boy, I could sit. Alright, so same thing here, because he's going to probably be interested in the gentleman. I'm going to start walking. He starts pulling. I say, nope, come on. Good. Same thing here again. We start going. Now he's walking a little bit more cautiously, right? Still too much though, because he's focused on the gentleman and not on me at all. Good boy. So that's the only way that he's thinking of going. That's why we have to really interrupt that train of thought. So second, third go round now. There you go. So he's got the other person over there. He's got the other gentleman over there. Starts pulling and overreacting. Go ahead and get him back in here. Come on. This way. Come back. Right? So making sure we quickly do that force follow. Right? He wants a hard pull one way, we're going to hard pull the other way. doesn't get to do what he wants to do, especially in those circumstances where he's overreacting and maybe scaring somebody. So it's no longer a choice at that point. It's we're going this way because you're focused on growling and barking the other way. And that's all it is. It's a very sudden change in direction. Right? Just like that. Boy. As soon as he starts going the right way, we release the pressure again. I'm not just dragging him along and extending that pull. Unfortunately, because of his fear or anxiety of the person, or the uncertainty, or the excitement, all of those things, once he kind of gets to that point when he's starting to make those verbalizations, he's not really listening anymore. So that's where it's important that you don't waste extra time in trying to give commands. That time you just want to kind of let him know, hey, by the way, we're going this way now. You're not going that way anymore. So we really need to get him to change direction so that way he's not facing towards what he's fixated on. As soon as you can break that line of sight, the easier it'll be to calm him down faster. Whereas if you just stand there and try to pull him back and try to calm him back, so long as he's still fixated and he's still facing that target, you're gonna have a much harder time. That's why practice like this, even though it seems really simple, is really important. As soon as he feels that pressure on the leash, he needs to check back in or turn around, right? Boy. Good boy. Yes, there you go. Good boy. Right? So a little bit more sensitive to it now, especially since we've had that big instance when we've had to use additional pressure on top of his pressure. But it's the same principle. We want him to be more sensitive to it as opposed to being able to just ignore it like he usually does. Good boy. This way. Alright. Good boy. Yes. He gets very distracted with everything else that's going on outside. Roux. Good boy. Some army practice drills. Good boy. Good boy. Good pee-pee. Yes, good boy. Right. So he started pulling too much consistently there. So all I did was slow down, causing the pressure on the leash to increase. And then he recognized that and slowed down as well. That was really good. Gonna go back over here where there's people again. So it also might be because it's dark or they're dark. Everything is actually pretty dark right now, so especially if they're reacting because they're uncertain. That tail is down, ears are tucked back, right? It's more of kind of like to preserve or to create additional space because they're scared or not sure or something, right? If we can get them to close that gap and he can actually smell and investigate, he'd be a lot better off. So he's starting to pull now. Yes, good boy. Good. So now he sees, it looks like they're having like a house party or something. Now he sees them, able to go back in and not pull. So that's where the consistency really comes into play. As soon as he starts pulling, he's not allowed to. The longer that you let him pull and drive, the more that he always feels like he's able to get away with it. Good boy. Whereas if we react quickly, we can actually get him acclimated to new behaviors of checking in, or at least recognizing and respecting that leash pressure as opposed to just ignoring it. Boy. There's only 4% battery left. Alright. At least we had one good instance with him overreacting. It was just to a person, but at least he did really good with the pups, so that's good. Do one more short stop. Yes, good boy. Good job. See if he'll take a treat. Roux, this way. And then one more time. Good. Right? Get him back to that point where he's following us, even without that leash pressure. And I'm going to stop. He feels the leash pressure. He stops. Good boy.